Welcome again to another edition of Star Wars Worst to First. This list, we'll be tackling the final Empire Strikes Back figure releases from 1982. This is not one of Kenner's stronger offerings, but at least there are some Bespin characters included to give the remaining figures a much-needed boost in profile. Now, it's time again to count down these figures from the very worst to the very best, brought to you by the kind folks at Star Wars Worst to First. Let's get started. Number 9. A repeat offender as one of the most useless and unnecessary action figures ever to be cast in plastic, Bespin Guard 2 has the privilege of being the only figure so bad that we couldn't help but rank it last twice. Aside from his complexion, Bespin Security Guard 2 has all of the drawbacks that plagued the original Bespin Security Guard. Degenerative piping, a hat that looks like an overturned flower pot, and garish red cuffs all rear their ugly heads. And what's up with that pose? Is he playing Guess What's in My Hand? Is he trying to land a devastating sucker punch to your solar plexus? If that's the case, then someone should tell him to lead with his opposing foot for balance. Loose mint Bespin Guard 2s go for $18, with carded mint examples overpriced at $145. Hey, what more can be said about this guy? He's a repeat of one of the least playable figures in toy history. File Bespin Guard 2 under FCO, for completists only. Number 8. Bespin, the sea of action figure dreck that keeps on giving. After seeing him outside of his vehicle, it's no wonder the Cloud Car pilot chose to ride in a spaceship that only left his head exposed. Although, his head is no real prize either. With a helmet that looks like an escaped villain from the Mushroom Kingdoms of Super Mario Bros. Fame, it's hard to believe that it could get worse. But it does. If half the effort that was put into designing his amazing holster was apparent anywhere else, Cloud Car Pilot might have escaped being a complete loss. His left arm is sculpted to accommodate what we can only guess is an electric shaver that he plans to use on the helmet strap that covers the bottom half of his face, just like a full beard. Just when you don't think he can get any more pathetic, you see the love handles hanging over the one side of his belt. Loose mint Cloud Car Pilot will cost you $40. The aptly named Lily Letty neon yellow variant runs about $120. Carded mint examples of Cloud Car Pilot are estimated at $250. When you're the driver of a vehicle that looks like a double-barreled hairdryer, we guess there's only so much that can be expected of you. However, Cloud Car Pilot doesn't even rise to those meager expectations. Number 7. The hits just keep coming with the AT-AT Commander. This figure looks like it had a run-in with Beetlejuice in the waiting room of death. There is no other reasonable explanation for the proportions of his helmet. That thing would barely fit on a Jawa. Throw in a pair of baggy pants to totally contrast his stiff torso, and you have a complete figure mismatch. He must have played a lot of hockey and eaten a lot of bacon to convince Canada that he was General Veers. Loose mint AT-AT Commander commands a respectable $25. Carded mint examples come in at $135, the lowest price of any carded figure in this countdown. However, the shrink-wrap Veers Canadian MOC variant blows every other figure out of the water, fetching upwards of $6,000. General Veers, indeed. If you were driving an AT-AT, would you take orders from this guy? Us neither. This complete disaster of a figure is so far down on the list of Imperial Army builders, he even manages to make Imperial Commander look like a reasonable option. However, if you happen to be a Canadian General Veers enthusiast, you just hit the jackpot. Number 6. Coming in at number 6 is Kenner's attempt to lure you into buying yet another bad R2-D2 interpretation. R2-D2's sensor scope, as he is titled, is the exact same figure as the previous R2, except with a little blue periscope that pops out of one of the trapezoids on his head. Now, this figure went a long way to encouraging kids to play with him in water, which only accelerates the destruction of his sticker and rusting of his inner screw. An honest oversight? Or an attempt to create an endless demand for R2 replacements? You decide. Loose mint R2-D2 with periscopes go for $45, with carded minted examples priced around $300. If you love R2-D2 and don't care how ragged he gets under normal play conditions, then we guess that an added periscope is a nominal upgrade over the original, unrecognizable toy representation. However, you have to wait until the Power of the Force 2 figures come around to get a decent likeness of this beloved character. Number 5. Up next on our list is Forlom, or is that Zuckuss? In a rare, honest mistake, Kenner accidentally switched the names of these two characters, cementing this guy in the minds of the toy-playing public as Forlom. His awesome head bears more than a passing resemblance to Godzilla fans' favorite insectoid buddy, Mothra. His nice assortment of accessories' only black mark is that bulky cloak. However, if you decide to remove it, you'll find out that Forlom was wise to cover up his completely bland and unimaginative body sculpt. Loose mint Forlom is priced around $22, while a carded mint example will cost you about $3.50. Forlom stands squarely in the middle of the pack when it comes to Star Wars bounty hunters. He doesn't wow like Boba Fett, or incite guffaws like Dengar. Ultimately, Forlom is a decent, if unremarkable, addition to your rowdy crew of galactic guns for hire. Number 4. At number 4, we find one of the more innovative playing concepts of any figure. C-3PO with removable limbs is a revelation of playtime possibilities. A figure that you're supposed to break on purpose? Genius! The sculpt is just as detailed and accurate as the original C-3PO action figure, although there is a lack of golden coloration in many examples of this representation. It is nice that the harness accessory fits well on Chewbacca's back, but it would have been even better if C-3PO fit as well inside of it. Loose mint examples of C-3PO with removable limbs cost around $15, with carded mint examples priced around $300. Forget any dreams you have of getting rich from the sealed-in Kenner bag variant. At $18, this extremely common collectible is an embarrassment to variants everywhere. Exciting playtime innovation is held short of the top tier of our list by other durability issues. But if you want a figure that grants you a truly unique playing experience, C-3PO with removable limbs is the action figure for you. Number 3. Mildly disruptive headscarf aside, Luke cuts quite the heroic pose in his Hoth battle gear. With just the right amount of color and detail, this figure manages to join the ranks of well-executed heroes from the Hoth line of Star Wars figures. Throw in an awesome blaster rifle, and we can almost forgive Kenner for skimping out on Luke's lightsaber. Loose mint Luke Skywalker in Hoth battle gear goes for $20, with carded mint examples priced around $400. As long as a Wampa doesn't come by to take advantage of his lack of a lightsaber, you can't go wrong with Luke Skywalker in his Hoth battle gear. It's no wonder that the Imperials came up with an AT-AT to try and take these guys on, because all the Star Wars heroes are fighting them on Hoth in style. Number 2. The Imperial TIE fighter pilot navigates his way to the number 2 spot on our worst to first countdown. He's the first figure since Darth Vader to show that bad guys look good in black. The TIE pilot is very similar to the AT-AT driver in terms of most of the detailing existing above the waist, and just like the AT-AT driver, that is more than enough to make this figure look awesome. Throw in the gray gloves and boots, and TIE fighter pilot even avoids falling into the trap of being a boring, monochrome shadow trooper. Looseman TIE fighter pilot fetches about $25 with carded mint examples priced near $2.80. As always, great Imperial design has managed to put one of its army builders near the top of our list. He may drive one of the flimsiest clay pigeon target vehicles in the Star Wars universe. But the TIE fighter pilot is no less impressive looking than many of his other sharp-dressed comrades in arms. Number 1. If C-3PO was beaten with an ugly stick and then picked up one of the most awesome rifles in the Kenner toy line, you would end up with Zuckuss. You basically have Forlom's head on a slightly more menacing version of C-3PO's body, and it looks awesome. The matte gray finish completes the transformation from uppity protocol droid to menacing bounty hunter. Not even a naming mix-up with Forlom is enough to keep this killer bounty hunter from reaching the very top of this worst to first list. Loose mint Zuckuss goes for $20, with carded mint examples priced around $300. A weaker playing field definitely helped his chances, but Zuckuss again proves that bounty hunters are some of the coolest looking characters in the Star Wars universe. That concludes our 5th entry in the Star Wars Worst to First Countdown. Come back soon to check out our ranking of the golden age of Kenner Star Wars action figures, the 1983 Return of the Jedi 65 back figures. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time on Star Wars Worst to First.